Hey y'all, we're going to go ahead and do our test corrections for the test that we took over setting and characters from last Friday. So a few things really fast. Please make sure in your Canvas that you guys are, let me find my assignment here. So the video is going to go right here where it says, please click this link to access your test corrections. You're going to click the link right below there and it's going to take you to this test correction page right here. So just as a reminder, please make sure that you are doing 3 out of the 5 of these. You'll put your name right up here. And then to know why the correct answer was C for number 1 or why the correct answer is D for number 5, that's what this video is for, and that's what I'm going to go over right now. So please pick 3 of those 5 to answer. Then you guys are going to turn that in on Canvas. Once you go back to Canvas, top right-hand corner, click Submit Assignment, and you guys will turn in those test corrections. You will not get credit for test corrections unless you submit it on Canvas for today's date, 1/19. All right, let's go ahead and do our test. So I'll go over the 5 most missed questions, but first, as always, I'm going to go ahead and read our 2 short passages, and then we'll look at those questions together. The first passage is called Grandma's Visit. My dad was in the Air Force, so we lived all over the States when I grew up. I liked it. Moving, that is. I got to see California and North Dakota, New England, and even Germany. I loved meeting people from different places. Since we moved all the time, one thing I didn't have was a permanent home. Sometimes I'd hear people say, I'm from Lawrence, Kansas, or Tyler, Texas, or Nashua, New Hampshire, and I'd wonder what it was like to grow up in one place. Sometimes I wished I'd have roots like that, but all in all, I think it was more interesting to travel and see people and places. We did have our roots, however. They just looked a little different. Every December, Grandma Givens would visit us wherever we lived. She'd take a plane from Cleveland and arrive at night. Jimmy and I would rush to the door as Grandma came into the entryway, brushing snow off her thick black coat and stomping snow onto the tile floor. She'd wrap one arm around each boy and say, "You know what I've got in my bag?" "Presents!" we'd shout, and we'd then go help her unpack. The second passage I'm going to go ahead and read because a lot of the questions have to do with both of the passages. A new nephew. My sister had a baby last week, Miriam said to me. It's her 3rd. Well, congratulations, I said. How are they doing? They are fine, she replied as she looked into her lap. That wasn't a convincing "they are fine," I said. Is everything okay? Yes, it's just... I raised my eyebrows to encourage the rest of the sentence. It's just that, well, you know that Haiti and I have been here in America for 10 years now. We haven't been back to Iran during that time. And it's just that I have never met any of my nieces and nephews. This birth reminds me of that. Can't you visit even for a short time? Leaving America, no problem. But getting back into the country could take time. And sometimes, no guarantees. We can't risk it. You know, the future of our children is here in America. All right, so we're going to go ahead and look over our most missed questions. The first one is question number 1. In Grandma's visit, the narrator's background has caused him to. So a lot of this test is looking at how the setting has influenced the characters. So in Grandma's visit, he's grown up in this as the son of a guy that's in the military. So he's traveled around a lot. So it's caused him to desire military. He never talks about also wanting to be in the military, so it's not A. Wish to move near his grandmother? Nope. He is happy to see his grandmother, but never talks about wishing to move near her. See the value of growing up in one place. So he doesn't grow up in one place, and he values not growing up in one place. However, he does actually see the value of growing up in one place because he compares it and contrasts it, I should say, to what he has. So right here he'd say, since we moved all the time, the one thing we didn't have was a permanent home. Sometimes I'd hear people say, they'd say they're from these specific places, and he'd wonder what it was like to actually grow up in one place. And sometimes he wished he had roots like that. So I would say the best answer is going to be see the value of growing up in one place. So for one, and letter D is incorrect because he doesn't say it's boring growing up in the same place. He just said that he thinks it's more interesting to do otherwise. So the best answer is C because he traveled a lot. He's able to see the value of living in only one place. All right, our next most missed question is number 4. Based on a new nephew, what does Miriam believe about success? I go down to that one. Miriam is the woman who is from Iran who hasn't seen her nieces and nephews in 10 years or ever. She hasn't met some of them ever. So does she believe that success is based mostly on performance? Does she believe that success can be defined in different ways? Does she believe that success requires sacrifice or that success is a result of confidence? So this question is actually a little bit challenging simply because it is an inferencing question, meaning that it doesn't come right out and tell us what the answer is. We have to read the full passage, understand what's going on, and then imply what we think she believes about success. The hint is going to be here in this last paragraph, where she says that they can't risk leaving because the future of their children is here. So basically, she and her husband can't go back home to Iran because they are sacrificing that family time to see her sister for her own children. She can't risk taking them back to Iran because they may not be able to get back into the country. So she thinks that success for her children, for example, requires sacrifice. So C is the best answer for number 4 because Miriam sacrifices time with her family for her children's future in America. All right, moving on to question number 5. In Grandma's visit, the narrator's upbringing has made him value. So this is another inferencing question. You need to have read the whole passage to be able to answer this. We want to know which one of these things are something that our main character values. So if you guys don't recognize these words, you would want to go to dictionary.com or just to Google and see if you guys can figure out what those words mean. So the first word is efficient, or is it efficiency? Let me go back over here. It's efficiency. Here we go. So it says efficiency seeks peak level of performance that uses least amount of info. Whoa, okay, that is super confusing. Let's see if we can just go to regular dictionary.com. An efficient, so it's the quality or degree of being efficient. So if we want to look up the word efficient, it is capable of producing desired results with little or no waste. So that doesn't really quite fit with what we're looking for here. There it goes, waiting for it to load. That doesn't really make sense with what he wants. We know that he values like being able to move to different places and have different adventures and being different. Discipline. Well, he might value discipline because his dad was in the military, but that's not what he's talking about in this paragraph. In this paragraph, he's talking about he likes it, that it's more interesting to travel and see people and places. So not quite. Creativity, doesn't really talk about creativity. Diversity. Let's go check on the definition of diversity. So diversity is variety. So the idea that something is made up of different things. Just because that's kind of confusing, let's go to the Google for diversity. You'll notice even as in like an English teacher, I'll check different definitions. So basically, the practice or equality of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds. So meaning that he's meeting people from all over the place. Our best answer is D. So for number 5, D is the best answer because the narrator values meeting different people from new places. And, you know, diversity means different people from new places and variety. All right, so our next one is going to be number 7. Number 7. We did have our roots, however. They just looked a little different. Every December, Grandma Gibbons would visit us wherever we lived. So this is happening in the second paragraph of Grandma's visit. These sentences show that the character from Grandma's visit, so we did have our roots, however, they just looked a little different. Every December, Grandma Gibbons would visit us wherever we live. So for most people, Grandma might come visit you wherever you live, or you might go to Grandma's. But because they're constantly moving, their grandma always comes to them and finds them. So she comes to their home. So what does this show about our character from Grandma's visit? Does it show that he thinks having roots is overrated? Let's check on that word overrated. So overrated means rated or valued too highly. So it's not really worth it. Does he think that having roots is not really worth it? Does he wish his family could just go to one place for Christmas? Is he bitter that his family never, like bitter means the same thing as like salty, that his family never settled in one place and that his grandma had to come to him? Does he wish they could just be in one place? Or does he like his untraditional upbringing and is grateful his family could come to him? So I think our best 2 answers here are Probably. We know that he's not bitter. He doesn't sound like he's bitter. He doesn't talk about wishing his family could go home to one place, so we know it's got to be A or D. He said that they don't. He said that he actually did wish he had traditional roots, even though ultimately he liked it was more interesting to travel. So I don't think having roots is overrated. He doesn't think that's overrated. He thinks it's nice too, but he really likes what he has. A traditional upbringing would be somebody who's, they go to their grandma's house for Christmas. So he likes his untraditional upbringing of traveling, and he's grateful that his family, his grandma specifically, could come to him. So for number 7, sorry that was long, guys, D is the best answer because the narrator says that it's more interesting to travel and see people and places. And he talks about how he's happy in this last paragraph as well. All right, so our last one that we're going to look at is number 8. Number 8 goes with a new nephew. Well, congratulations, I said. How are they doing? They're fine, she replied as she looked into her lap. In a new nephew, the reader can conclude that when Miriam responds to the narrator's question, Miriam is, so we've got a couple of different vocabulary words here that we're going to need to look up. So we need to know how Miriam is feeling. So before I even look these words up, let's actually go see how she's feeling. So let's see. Her sister had a baby. Our narrator says, congratulations. Then Miriam says, they are fine. Key phrase right here. She replied as she looked into her lap. Y'all, if you're saying they're fine and you're looking down, is it really fine? Probably not. And if you look at the context here, you've got to look at context with quotes. The narrator says, that was not a convincing they are fine. Is everything okay? Clearly everything is not okay, right? It turns out that she really misses her sister and she's never even met her nieces and nephews. So she's feeling kind of sad maybe. So we need a word that maybe means a little bit like sad or discouraged. Overjoyed is probably not going to be the right word, but let's go ahead and type it in. Overjoyed means exactly what it sounds like, extremely happy. So we know for a fact it's definitely not going to be this one. I wanted to X that out. That is not what I wanted. All right, wistful. Let's go check out wistful definition. Wistful means full of yearning, desire tinged with melancholy, musingly sad. So this one does have kind of a sad thing, so it might be wistful. The next one is bewildered. Bewildered means perplexed and confused. Okay, so she's not confused, so it can't be C. And the last one is, you pronounce that word indignant. So let's type in indignant. And of course, when you guys are taking your test, you can just copy and paste that word as well. Indignant means feeling or showing anger or annoyance. Okay, she's not angry, she's sad, right? So the best answer is B. So for number 8, B is the best answer because she is wistful, she's sad that she hasn't met her nieces and nephews. So B is the best answer because she is sad or wistful that she hasn't met her nieces and nephews yet. All right, guys, that's a wrap. I'll see you on the flip side. Remember to fill out your test corrections using this video and then turn that in on today's Canvas. Bye for now.